Hey guys and gals out there, I'm Leanne and this is my weight loss journey, and I have been a total screw up and it's really up and down, but after doing a year and a half of dieting and trying to make changes in myself, I thought that this would be an epic video to maybe share what my views and opinions are on how to cut that vicious cycle of restart. Now, I don't know about you, but I have been through many a journey on my little weight loss journeys. And good God, there has been a few, which you have seen some of them, where I have started a diet. I've done really good for the first bit when you've got that mojo, you've got that real strong motivation, and then you hit a brick wall. You get bored of it, you get really fed up, and you totally and utterly crash and then end up coming well off a plan or just a few days off a plan. And then you look at the days of the week and it's the weekend and you think, oh, I'll restart on Monday. Now, I know that there's other people out there that do that, and I, for one, have definitely been there. Like, that has totally been me. You've seen that happen if you've watched my channel, where I have done amazing for 3 days, then I've totally and utterly, messed up. I'm saying messed up, I'm going to say just come off of the plan that I was following. And then I've gone, oh, screw it, it's the weekend, I'm going to start again on Monday. Or, which I see really commonly on channels, that people will do amazing for 3 or 4 months, then they will not follow a plan for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, a couple of years, and then they will go back to Slimming World or whatever plan they're on, and they will hit the restart where they are wiping the slate clean and they forget everything that's happened before because they don't want to remember it. And then they are back on a plan and they do amazingly for a few months, and then they are back to square one. Well, this video is here because I want to talk about it with you, but also to myself so I can reflect on this, because that's what I do, about why that I don't think is a good idea and how to break that. That cycle, in my opinion, is really unhealthy. A quick disclaimer out there, which I'm going to throw out there. I am no guru. I am not perfect. And this is me just paddling my way through this epic upstream struggle to lose weight and keep going at it. And if you've got any opposing views or any advice or any opinions, please, there is a comment box downstairs. Let's help each other with this. If you think you've got anything else to add to this, if you disagree with what I'm saying, or if you've got any advice, top tips, or anything that I'm not touching on today, because this is completely unscripted, so I'll probably miss some stuff, then add it below. Let's work together and help each other, and then other people can read the comments and we can all do this together. And we can either learn from each other, or we can help each other, or we can look at them and think, absolutely, hell no, that's not going to work. So my view, and this is not medically sound, this has got no backing, this is just completely my opinion, is that I don't think restarts and setting days are a good idea. I think that it sets up a really, really unhealthy pattern of trying to make change. So your life, in my opinion, is not it's not lived week to week. It's not like you live this week and this week's separate. It's all merged, all years, all months, all everything. And I think I relate that to a weight loss journey. So the reason, even though I've messed up and I've not dieted for 7 months, 8 months, however long it were, I have been adamant on this occasion not to hit the restart button, just to carry on, accept the weight gains, accept the fuck ups that I've made. And sorry if swearing upsets you, but I do say it how it is. I'm totally and utterly honest. I just think it completely and utterly ruins your journey. So I myself previously have always been unsuccessful in any weight loss journey that I've been on. And I think the reason for that is because I see it as just one snippet, one part of my life. I put a time frame into it and I'm on these dates, I was on this diet. And then these dates here that follow it, I messed up and put all my weight back on. So then what I will do is I'll forget about everything that's happened previously I'm wiping the slate clean because that makes me feel bad and I guilt trip myself. And then I am going to start afresh and just hit this with a new scope and not think about anything that I've done before. I'm going to do it with a fresh start because that makes me feel better. Well, ultimately, maybe it does. But as humans, it is my belief that you only learn from doing stuff wrong. Like if you do something right all the time, then you just plod on and you keep repeating that behavior. Fantastic. But let's face it, if you're watching this video or you're on a weight loss journey, it isn't because you're doing something right, is it? Because I mean, if you're in your weight loss journey, then yeah, maybe you are doing something right. But if you're somebody that is watching this and has been on 15 different weight loss plans, different times, different journeys, and you are treating those as separate entities and you forget about them when they go behind, like you are on a weight loss journey and they are not like isolated to each journey. I believe that being on a continuous lifestyle change rather than it just being a lifestyle, like a weight loss journey, it doesn't really matter what words you put to it. It doesn't matter how you try to label it. Ultimately, it is the same. And you can sit and be like, I don't want to think about what's happened in the past because it makes me feel bad because I felt a failure. Well, you're not a failure. You've just had an attempt that's not really worked for you. I 100% believe that if you stop wiping that slate clean and you actually look at what's happened previously and learn from that and use that to move forward, then that will break that pattern of restart, of continuous restart. And what's more, I think the knowledge that you pick up from what you've done before will only help you. You're just going to learn from them mistakes. You only learn from doing things wrong. And man, I am the queen at doing stuff wrong. You've all seen me. Jesus Christ, look, like, I am so glad I recorded the new you plan thing. Now, I'm not saying that that doesn't work for some people because it will, and it does. And there's people out there that have lost this weight, done it on the new you plan, and are maintaining well. I am not judging anybody on that plan. Can I just have that outlined? I also, on my channel, I'm open for debate and people's opinions and criticism as long as it's constructive. But I am mindful that people put in really negative comments about other people's choices could impact on them in a really negative sense. And I don't really want that. This needs to be healthy discussion and it needs to be something that's constructed to maybe help other people. But I do need, if you are commenting and you're following me along, you need to be open to the fact that everybody's on their own journey. Different diets suit people at different parts in their lives, and not everybody is the same. Now, me personally, I like Slimming World, but I'm not offended if you don't like Slimming World and you don't think it's the right plan. If you prefer calorie counting, I can see the pros in that. I can 100% see the pros in that. And if that works for you in your lifestyle, then I am absolutely 1000% supportive. But whatever journey you're on and whatever your opinions is, let's air them, let's put them down there, but let's do it in a really positive, let's be helpful to each other manner, not in the we're in a competition and got to drag each other down kind of manner, because that is not my kind of vibe at all. So, back to where we were, because I do progress. Oh God, I can't even talk. That is proper hard. Digress is the right word. My hormones means words don't come out of my mouth sometimes, even though they're in there. It's very annoying. So back to where we were. So you are going to learn from mistakes. So I'm going to talk about my experience on the new you plan, and it's the same as any meal replacement diet for me. For me, I chose to go onto that plan because my head was completely tired of thinking about food. So that's a pro of that plan because you don't really have to think about food and it's all there for you. It's all planned, it's all measured, it's all okay. However, put into that the context of I had other stuff going on and the restriction of that didn't work for me. Now, just because that didn't work for me and that was one segment of my journey, I don't want to forget it. I don't regret it. I am not beating myself up about it. I have beaten myself up about it, but look, we're all learning. And that ultimately sent me into a further spiral. So if you have a crap day or you choose the wrong plan or you have loads of holidays or loads of weddings or loads of events. Okay, that's fine. Let's not wipe the slate clean. Let's have a look at, in my opinion, I think I said let's have a look as they were going to discuss that. We can't, because this is not a two-way conversation, is it? It's very annoying that it's not at the minute. However, have a look at what happened, do you know, during that event. Do you know, like, and what made you spiral? Did you deal with that event and actually you did okay? And were you able to get back onto your plan? Or did you use that as, like, did you beat yourself up and make yourself feel guilty for going off plan for a day and not being super good and planned? And then that spiraled you into eating and not sticking on your plan and not doing it anymore? That is a learning curve. If you then mess up and do something like that you're not happy with, and you don't reflect on it and you don't learn from it and you wipe that slate clean, you ain't ever gonna learn, and I'm not ever gonna learn. That's why I am recording these videos. That's why I watch them back. It's definitely not because I like the sound of my own voice, because I'm telling you now, I know I sound common as hell, and there's nothing more cringy than watching your videos back. But how am I going to learn if I don't? And that's exactly what I do. So, wiping the slate clean, I've just outlined, like, is, I think, it's a really bad idea. What do you think? Do you think it's a good idea? Do you enjoy doing that? Is it something that you do regular? Does that work for you in moving on? Does that, or does it not? What are your experiences? I want to know for myself. I want to learn from other people. And this is one of the reasons why I want to catch my channel up to real time, because these are the things that I'm reflecting on and these are what I'm learning from. So, one of the things to prevent that happening that I think is a good idea, if you can break the cycle of wiping that slate clean, is to self-reflect. So I've just touched on it a bit there. I think making a bit of a screw up and making bad choices, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. But reflect on that and be positive about it as well. Don't sit and beat yourself up. So the way that I do it is I watch these videos back. I record, I'm really honest, I'm really open. There is no point in making excuses. And I mean, I've made excuses, I've done it, but looking back, there's just no point because it gets you nowhere. Now, when I'm saying don't make excuses, it doesn't mean don't acknowledge things that impact on your weight loss journey. But then don't also kind of sit on that and be like, the reason I can't do this is because of this, that, and that. So maybe there's a reason why that happened, and maybe there's a reason why you're finding it hard now. And it's important to embrace that and acknowledge it, because otherwise, how the hell are you going to work through that, and how are you going to prevent it happening again? But it's not okay, I don't think, and it's not healthy to sit and make excuses for yourself. Now, when I go on holiday, I won't diet. Like, no matter what anybody says, I will not diet when I'm on holiday. However, do I need to go crazy? No. Have I gone crazy before? Yeah. Do I need to rein that in? Absolutely. Hopefully that will become natural when I work on my portion control and all the rest of it, which are other things that I'm looking at on my previous mistakes. But will I diet? No. Do I need to reflect on how going on holiday a lot of times then why I don't get back on plan when I'm back? Yeah, I do. And that is why wiping the slate clean does not work for me. This journey for me has been the longest I've ever tried and concentrated on losing weight and keeping it off. Now, although I've put weight on, because I've not wiped the slate clean and kind of shoved it aside and forgot about it, which I can't really, can I? Because this channel exists. It's helped me to not pile on everything that I've put on. And it's helped me to rein it in. And even though that reining in took me a while, I've still been able to rein it in. I am now 5 or 6 weeks back onto like healthy eating and this journey and making these lifestyle changes. And even in the middle of that, I went to Poland. So I had a holiday and I ate and drank whatever I wanted. But because I wasn't beating myself up and because I wasn't using it as like a fresh start, and I embraced that holiday and break as part of my journey, it's been so much easier than what I did last year when I had my 40th birthday and loads of holidays, because I was beating myself up and because I wasn't reflecting back on it and properly dealing with it and learning from it. it was a spiral that I couldn't control. Whereas when I went to Poland and previously, like when I went to Spain, I found that a lot easier because I embraced it as part of my journey, not like signifying it as like breaks and having to start again. So I don't even know whether this even makes sense, do you know, to be honest, but I'm trying to ramble. All my videos are totally unscripted. I don't pre-write a list, nor think about what I'm talking about. So kind of apologise, but at least, you know, it's honest and from the heart, and it's not like this perfect video of somebody that's scripted it and is just putting forward the good bits, if that's all in all honesty. So the way I reflect and the way that maybe you could use, or do you know, if anybody's got any ideas on how you reflect, please shove them in the comments below because I would love to hear from it. So these vlogs help me reflect. I watch these back. So the reason these work is because I can look at them objectively. So because I'm watching myself and I'm not in the midst of it, I kind of look at myself from an outsider's point of view, and I read my body language. I listen to what I'm saying. I'm really honest in my videos. The reason I'm like that is so that I can understand and look back on emotions and things like that. And I reflect on these videos. I don't just watch the videos. I actually take time to write down what's happening to me and what's made me feel like that. If there's a specific situation that's made me feel like that, so say one of the times that I did this was when I went out with Oliver. He had too much to drink and he was really rude. Well, I found him really rude, other people maybe not, but that's how I viewed it. When I watched that video back and I listened about that situation and him telling me that I was lucky to have him, and that made me feel really worthless and really rubbish, I wrote down that situation and I wrote it as how I remember it and how it made me feel. And don't get me wrong, it was a bit lengthy and it was a bit painful to revisit, but I did it. I then reread that through a lot of times and really thought about that. And by reading it through so many times, I kind of desensitized the emotional reaction that I had to that, which then allowed me to actually put it into logical perspective and actually look at myself and be like, why am I letting somebody make me feel like that? That actually wasn't that big a deal. Like, you should have been able to be able to deal with that. And it just helps me deal with it. And so I reflect on my journey all along, and I do that a lot, and that helps me move forward and make changes, which is ultimately why 1.5 years in, I'm still on this plan and I'm still trying, and we only fail if we give up trying, in comparison to other journeys when I've given up after a few months or a few weeks, which I think is quite a good way to look at it. I think it helps you move forward, and I think it will help you undo eating habits that have ultimately got me here, or will have got you here. Your thoughts on that would be much appreciated. So comments down there, please, because I really do. This is like a joining in kind of vlog, and I want to learn from you guys and see what you think about what I'm saying, if I'm going to be honest. Good, bad, ugly, not rude. We don't want to upset anybody else. Personally, I can take it, but I don't want anybody else upset by this. There's just no need. It's nice to be nice. So reflecting, that's how I reflect. I picked that strategy up from when I did some talking therapies about previous trauma. So that leads me on to my next thing about how to not hit the reset button. So there's a reason why people go through the cycle of dieting. It's just my opinion. This is not medically backed up or anything. I've not researched this, but it's my belief that I go through patterns of eating and this cycle of restarting because of trauma that's happened to me previously. Now, if I diet and then wipe the slate clean and don't look at why I've screwed up and do this restart, which I'm kind of against, I believe that you don't actually address that trauma. If you don't address your emotional eating trauma or whatever relationship you've got with food or whatever's going off, then I don't believe that until that's resolved, because weight loss is a massive mindset thing, that you will ever successfully, continuously lose weight. it is not an easy thing to do, and it's not something that everybody can do on their own. In fact, I don't actually think it's safe to do on your own. Again, this is not advice that I'm giving freely, and well, I'm obviously giving it freely, but I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about, and I would hate for somebody to spiral into mental health issues. But if you're aware that you've got trauma and that the mental health issues could be restricting you and having an impact on your life, then go and seek help to address that. Go and seek help. There is no shame in that. And ultimately, by addressing those traumatic issues that then will impact on the relationship you have with food, you will then be able to move forward with a lot healthier approach. And I think that helps you break that cycle of restart and doing a short-winded, faddy diet, I'm going to say, even if it's not really restrictive. If you are starting and stopping a diet and not really getting anywhere and losing a stone and then putting half a stone on and then putting another stone on and then losing that 2 stone, if you've got that cycle, I think it's important to address the issues that are resulting in this, and that'll help you move forward. But that is why I don't think doing a restart and forgetting what's happened before is a great idea. I don't think it's a healthy way of weight loss. I don't think it backs up the overall health lifestyle change. And this is why I'm making this video. Ultimately, I've got to that stage in my life and I am massively pro this being a continual thing and not giving up and not learning from your mistakes. And I'm putting this video out there because maybe somebody's had the same pattern as what I've had. I know people have had it because I speak to people that have got this kind of pattern of restart and forgetting everything. But I'm trying to put these out there also to help me, but also to help other people. And I am also interested in what other people's opinions are and views on this and what you guys do, because you can learn from other people. Oh God, that was such a long ramble, weren't it, for me? 22 minutes I've been speaking. And if you're still here, well done. So, I don't know. I don't really know now where I'm going to go with this. I just think that dealing with trauma and previous failed attempts and using them to help yourself move forward makes it a positive and makes you be able to move forward healthier, in my opinion. So the last thing I want to address in terms of this wiping the slate clean on this vlog is guilt. So we all live with guilt. We all have mummy guilt or daddy guilt or grandparent guilt or friend guilt, or we are absolute idiots for guilting ourselves. Me included. This is not saying that I am not this person, but I have found, or I think, and this is just my view, again, I am interested to hear what your thoughts are, that guilt plays a massive part in unhealthy cycles of weight loss. It is my belief that if you keep restarting and forgetting what you've done before, most of the times people restart and wipe the slate clean because they've felt that guilty and that's impacting that much on their journey, their life, their mental health, that wiping that slate clean and forgetting what's happened previous, they put that guilt to bed, they leave it aside, they forget about it, and they restart and they start afresh and they do it with this massive bout of positivity. However, I also think that by doing that you open yourself up to re-guilt. You need to stop guilting yourself. I need to stop guilting myself. Do you know, if we fuck up, we fuck up. We eat a chocolate cake. That is all. The world's not going to come to an end. You have not killed a small child or a cat. It is just food. And do you know, if you put 3 stone on, you've just put 3 stone on. Stop guilting yourself. Stop it. That is, honestly, you've got to stop guilting yourself, and I've got to stop guilting me. So guilt leads to these restarts. All that happens is, like I said, you will just go on that journey. You will hit another bout where you do wrong or guilt yourself, and then you will mess up, and then you will wipe that slate clean and forget about that guilt. to stop that reset button. Just stop guilting yourself. Stop feeling guilty. Pack it in, because ultimately it's not healthy for you. You're not going to learn from that. There is no benefit from guilting yourself or making yourself feel bad. It's not okay. It's not going to work. And that is something that I firmly believe in. Now, looking back and seeing where you've made the mistakes and changing them, now that's another thing. But feeling guilty is not healthy, and it's not positive, and it's not constructive to weight loss. And all it does is impact on you wanting to do that restart, forgetting about it, and you will just end up making yourself feel guilty again. Ultimately, you don't forget, dear. Do you know, wiping the slate clean, that guilt doesn't disappear, or anything like what you've done wrong doesn't disappear. Like, mentally, you might try and trick your brain into thinking that, but it doesn't. What you need to work on, rather than wiping the slate clean, is stopping the guilt. Now, this is really ironic because I have guilted myself. You've seen me guilt myself. But through reflection of my own videos, which proves that I'm not just talking crap, I genuinely do this, I have seen myself guilt myself. And it has been so tempting, especially this time, to restart Slimming World, go back to that group and start again and pretend all that previous stuff didn't happen. But I won't learn. And then I'll re-guilt myself. So I'm not doing it. Anyhow, that is my upload for what my thing is on not hitting that restart and why I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it's a good plan for a long-term weight loss program that's going to be successful. I am really interested to see what you think about this, really interested to see what you think about this. I do want to see what other people's views are, what your experiences are, what your advice is. And I would really appreciate that. And I think it would help as a group, as a community, for us all to pull in together and hopefully come to some form of conclusions of what other people do. It might give other people ideas. If you think I'm talking crap, you might have something that's more suitable for people and is more effective. And I am all ears, I'm all ears for this. So think thin, and I will see you on the next upload.